On today's episode, we are attempting to hunt the largest crocodile in history with a bow and arrow. This croc is beyond monstrous, and it is 100% wild, free-ranging, and living in the jungles of Tanzania. Now guys, this hunt was brutal and life-threatening to say the least. To hone in on this beast, we had to get down into the mosquito-infested swamps where I contracted a deadly virus called malaria.
Well, I have malaria. That's great.
If you're all thinking to yourself, why does that sound familiar? Well, it's because malaria ranks as one of the top infectious global diseases, killing almost 1 million people per year. So yeah, it wasn't ideal for me to contract that disease. But on top of that, I contracted some sort of parasitic infection from doing an autopsy on a crocodile with open cuts all over my hands. I know, it was stupid, but this infection ravaged my body and I was literally blood 20 times a day, and I ended up losing 25 pounds, and I genuinely thought I was going to die. But I got medical treatment for the malaria, and after 10 days of pure death on the toilet, I survived that too. So enjoy this wild adventure. It is action-packed, and we also captured footage that is so rare, this may be the first time it's ever been documented in the wild. So trust me, guys, you don't want to miss this. We also packed this episode full of little mini hunts with kill shots throughout the entire video. So if you guys would, do me a huge favor and watch this from start to finish. We spent a ton of time putting this episode together, and I would hate for you guys to miss any of the details. So let's get ready, fam. We are diving headfirst into this extraordinary adventure of many lifetimes. I hope you enjoy it. To kick off this world record quest, we have to go back to 2021 when we went to Tanzania for the first time. On that trip, we hunted many amazing animals and we fed so many people. It was truly an incredible trip. But my number one animal that year was to hunt a monster croc. However, this was also Sarah's number one animal. So when we only found one ancient beast to hunt, I decided to be a gentleman and let my 6-month pregnant wife hunt that crocodile. Let's dive into that hunt. As you can see, she made a perfect shot on this magnum 15.5-foot croc that would break the world record for the largest croc ever hunted by a female with a bow.
This was, like I said, the most insane hunt I think I've ever done.
Obviously, I was very proud of her, but I hoped one day I'd get my own chance at a monster crocodile. 2 years later, I would get that very chance. This is that story. We went back to the same place where we hunted before in hopes to find another monster croc. But this year we went all in. In fact, Donnie with African Bowhunting Adventures went out 2 weeks early to help scout with Dusty and Lauren in hopes to find a monster croc to hunt. And after 10 days of searching up and down the river, they found an absolute monster. They couldn't believe their eyes. This was one of the biggest crocs they had ever seen. So Donnie took out his camera and snapped this very photo. As you can see, this was an absolute monster, but we wanted a better idea of just how big he really was. So after the croc had moved off, Donnie went down and measured in the sand where that croc was. And when they measured it, they couldn't believe their eyes. This croc was well over 16 feet in length, which means this very croc, if shot with a bow and arrow, would be the new all-time world record. So my entire focus was going to be on this croc. It was going to be him or nothing. So when we arrived at camp, we went right back to the same place Donnie and Dusty had spotted him the first time, and we began setting up the blind and strategizing our next moves to hunt this beast.
We're setting everything up for a freaking monster croc. Now it's just gonna be sitting all day long and hoping smaller crocs come in, and with him being the big, dominant, oldest croc on this section of the river, he comes in to take what's rightfully his. We're going full draw and sending a beast broadhead through him is the plan. So we'll see if we can make it happen.
After getting our spot all set up, we still had some light left, so we decided to leave the spot and go hunt some bush pigs for the remainder of the evening. And right at last light, we snuck in on this monster old beast lurking in the swamp.
The pressure was on with that shot, because if I would have made a marginal shot at all, he would have ran back in there where we know there's an entire herd of buffalo, which would have been very dangerous. So what a beast. Complete pass through with the brand new beast broadheads, and the broadhead still works and functions exactly what you hope for. Look at the size of those tusks. On a bush pig, that's real impressive. Quick death for an old boar.
The next day, we were at an all-time high with anticipation for that giant croc. So we snuck in silently, expecting to see the croc claiming his food and guarding his territory. But we sat for hours and saw quite a few crocs, but none of them were that 16-footer that Donnie and Dusty had spotted earlier. You know, obviously this was concerning. Large crocs are very territorial, and once they have a kill, they guard it and don't let other crocs near it. But then, all of a sudden, both small crocs swam off. This could only mean one thing. Something big was coming. Something really big.
Yeah, dude, that looks like a big crocodile. Dude, he's big. No, that's definitely him. Look at his head.
It was him, and he was coming our way.
Oh my God. That's our boy.
I was face to face with the largest crocodile ever seen by a bow hunter.
Look at that thing. Look at him. Wow. Oh my God.
The adrenaline rush was so intense, it took every ounce of mental discipline to keep it together.
Dude, he's big. He's a monster. I want him. Oh my God, look at that freaking gnarly monster. It's like something straight out of Jurassic Park. Oh my God, it's freaking gnarly. Man, he's just straight in. I thought he would have more out of the water. The water's a little too deep, and he is just pacing us.
With him facing me, I had no shot. I needed him to be broadside, but we were running out of light.
Also, he couldn't get into some action here if he turns to fight off one of the other crocs or something. All right, let's see if he turns.
But he never turned, and I eventually ran out of light.
We'll get out here and come back first thing in the morning and hope that he'll come and beach himself right next to the feed. If he beaches himself tomorrow during the day, then we should get a chance.
After that encounter, it was a restless night, knowing we were heading back to that very blind first thing in the morning. We got in the blind before daylight, and we sat in the dark, expecting to hear the giant croc eating or him fighting off other crocs. But to our surprise, it was eerily quiet. When it finally got daylight enough to see, our worst nightmare had came true. Not only was the meat not eaten, but he was gone. We sat for a few hours in hopes to see him, but he was nowhere to be found.
We didn't think what actually happened would happen, and that's when he's gone.
With him not giving us a good shot the first time, we decided to take the opportunity to move the meat closer, so if he came back and fed, he'd be in a much better position for a shot.
So this river's full of crocodiles. But we're not after just any crocodile. We're after an ancient 60-plus-year-old, potentially even 80-year-old crocodile. It'll be the shot of my life if I can make it happen on a world record crocodile.
At the same time we were doing this, Lauren radioed into the anti-poaching team, who was just upstream a couple miles, and asked them to keep an eye out for a big giant croc. And they radioed back, "It's funny you say that. We saw a big one early this morning cruising down the river." And Lauren and I looked at each other and we said, this has to be our giant croc. So we immediately went there and met with the anti-poaching team and began strategizing our next move.
Well, it's at that bend there where those big trees are. You see there's that, almost look like there's flowers on those reeds.
Yeah.
If you come, that's an island. If you come to the right, there's like dead trees in the river.
Yeah.
That's where they saw him.
Oh, so we're pretty close. These anti-poaching guys, they've seen a lot of crocs, and he said it was a monster. So it's pretty good intel from a very credible source. So we're hoping that it all plays out for us, because we are getting down to the wire to make this work. So we gotta hope that this comes together for us.
We went up and down the river searching for this giant croc and looking for any signs of where he could be.
It was a small croc. It's only this wide. It's not big.
Can you see anything to the right?
And this is where I die. On an island covered in crocodile nests, just standing next to deep water. Yeah. Probably not the smartest move I've ever made.
Finally, we found a spot that looked like a perfect place for a monster croc to show up. So we set everything up and we just hoped he would find it.
We're gonna get that water buck, half the water buck tied up to that post, and we're gonna brush in a ground blind right here. So, you're like, where did you get one of these in Tanzania? We brought it. Well, everything's set up. Blind put in, shooting lane cut, 21 yards.
Over the next couple of weeks, we checked both spots religiously, but there was no sign of him. We had no idea where he went, but he was gone. So we went on hunting other animals to feed ourselves and feed everyone at camp. I was successful in making a 75-yard shot on this big, beautiful sable.
Oh, perfect, Josh.
Yeah. What do you think, boys? That was awesome. Wow. We're talking about 100% wild, free-ranging Tanzania sable here.
Then I went on and shot a super old water buck at 82 yards.
Smoked him.
And Sarah was also successful with her own hunts. She went on and made a perfect shot on a sable at 87 yards.
Got a shot off him at 87 and he didn't even go 200 yards. I'm just beyond words grateful that we were able to get a shot and then find him and recover him so quickly.
Then she went on and made another perfect shot on a beautiful water buck at 26 yards.
Well, we are sitting behind my incredible water buck. Such a cool hunt, and just to be able to be sitting behind this animal, I'm incredibly grateful. Getting to eat him in camp, bring him back to the kids, which is so rewarding for me as a mom to be able to provide not only for camp, but for my kids, and to just watch the joy in them.
You see, we need a lot of meat to feed the entire camp, because what you don't realize is there is over 30 staff members that work at that camp, plus our entire crew, plus the game scouts. So we're feeding well over 40 people every day. So let's do the math. Now keep in mind, I eat enough for like 3 or 4 people. So if I'm only eating 3 meals a day, I eat like a pound of meat in every single meal. But that aside, the average person only eats 4 ounces of meat per meal, and they eat about 3 to 4 meals a day. They consume an average of 12 to 16 ounces per day. So across 40 people, that means we all eat between 480 and 640 ounces of meat, which equates to 30 to 40 pounds of meat every single day. So over the entire length of our entire safari, we will consume between 840 and 1,120 pounds of meat. Yeah, that's a lot of meat. And that, of course, does not count all the meat that Sarah and I donate to all the local villages every year we go to Africa. We always want to give back to the communities we hunt near. And every year we ask, they always want the same thing: school supplies for their kids, and you guessed it, meat. Meat. So you're seeing a lot of animals being hunted here, but no, every single animal harvested absolutely gets used and never is wasted. In fact, even the meat we used for the croc was mostly sick, full of parasites, or an infected animal, which of course we couldn't eat anyway. And that is the exact situation that happened with the next 2 animals I harvested. The first one was this big old Cape buffalo I shot at 63 yards with the beast broadhead. You won't believe what we found inside that buffalo after I shot him. Let's roll that hunt. Don't move. He's 62. Okay, go for it. 66. Perfect. Perfect.
Quarter way.
That's good.
It's good.
That's long.
Height looks good.
Yeah, that looks long.
Yeah. We got good penetration. 66 yards. Let's just watch him. It was a far shot, guys, at 66 yards, but I followed that offside leg and it buried up to the label. That was shooting the beast broadhead at 1.6. So it's a huge cut for buffalo, you know. And so I feel like penetration's good, cornering away like that. We got everything we need. We just give them a little bit of time now. We got the buffalo with the beast broadhead. 1 arrow, 1 buffalo at 66 yards. I mean, if that doesn't sell you on our broadheads, I don't know what will. So I'm proud of this. Let's go take a look. Check this out. What a beast of a buffalo. I mean, look at the size of his bosses. I mean, solid, polished. We're talking about an ancient old bull. Just the perfect one to take. Whoa, he's showing me a picture of the muzzleloaders that they use that shoot these bullets. We obviously just found this in my buffalo. You know, he was shot in the chest a long, long time ago. This bullet was completely healed over. These are homemade bullets. I mean, this is part of a bicycle. You know, the part that you pedal, they can make 3 bullets, and that's where that one came from. To think I cut this out of the sack that surrounds his heart. It's just the way that it goes out here, you know. It's why what we're doing is so important and conservation is so important, because we fund the anti-poaching. If there wasn't people like me paying to come out here and hunt these Cape buffalo, putting value on these animals, there would be no protection for them. So you don't have to agree with hunting Africa. Yes, we're using the meat, nothing goes to waste, but there's more to Africa hunting than just the meat. And there is a trophy aspect to that, but that trophy brings value and that value brings protection. This is just a perfect example of why conservation is so important and why coming and hunting Africa is so important. Because though this still happens, At least it happens less.
And on that same day, we spotted a very messed up warthog that was clearly sick and dying. So I snuck in and used my tag on him as well. Let's roll that hunt.
Watch out. Perfect. Perfect, dude.
Oh, big warthog, baby. We got him.
I think that's good, dude.
I don't know. I've been hunting Africa since 2016, and warthogs have been one of those animals I'm just obsessed with, and I never got many opportunities to be able to bow hunt real big ones. That was a good shot. Yeah, I hit him right there. Thank you, Bob.
Josh, look at the hole in his forehead. Look at his forehead. Look down.
Whoa,
It's got a huge hole.
what is that from? Oh, it's rotten. Oh, here.
Why he was doing that, like mudding.
It's got maggots in it, dude. Very grateful for him. Unfortunately, with that level of infection, we won't be eating this pig. You know, it's just too risky with the worms, and I mean, there's maggots coming out of that hole, so this will be perfect for bait. And we got the perfect spot to put it. And so we'll skin him, we'll get a full skin, and I'll even put that hole in the mount. But he will be given back to old Africa, and the predators of the lands will be enjoying his meat, not us at camp. So we're gonna use him for bait.
So after harvesting both of these infected animals, this was a great opportunity for us to use that infected meat for the big croc. So we went back to the original spot where we saw him the first time, and we freshened up that meat and prayed he would find it before the safari was over.
The first sit, he was just in too deep water head on. And we tried moving it over here. He just wanted nothing to do with it. We got on the other side of the river and looked over here, and he was staying in the deep water. So the boys are out there gonna put in the stake and then hope that he comes up on that sandbar and we'll be in good shape and get a nice broadside shot. Well, this is my second year trying to get a croc. Spent 40 plus days in Tanzania last year, never got a chance. And now we're on day 23 of this trip. We got 5 days left. Need a little bit of luck, boys, that's for sure.
But in the meantime, we went back out bow hunting. I had some puku tags I was hoping to fill because puku is some of the best meat in Tanzania.
You know, we made a great 49-yard shot, and this old ram hit the ground very quick. Well, we got camp meat, and we're ready to rock and roll, so we're gonna get him back into the truck and get him back to camp.
The first one I stalked into 44 yards and made a great shot on him, and he only went 60 yards and tipped over. But the second puku was very special. We drove by the swamp and we saw this ancient old puku in the water. So I snuck in behind him using a tree as cover while the guide and the cameraman positioned themselves to film the hunt from a reverse angle. This would be one of the most insane kill shots ever recorded if we can pull this off. Finally, he turned and allowed me to come out from behind the tree and go full draw. It was time to take my shot.
Beautiful, beautiful puku. We're gonna grab some photos, and we got meat for camp.
After that amazing hunt, we decided to swing back by the original spot and see if by the grace of God, the world record croc had returned.
You get a good proper look at him now. Yeah. There's him too. Boys, that's awesome. We just might get ourselves a world record crocodile with a bow, so.
We couldn't believe what we were seeing. The giant croc was back, but it was too late to get in the blind. So we headed back to camp to get some rest because at first light, we'll be sitting in that blind. As it got light, we could see there was a big croc already at the meet, but it wasn't him. This was not a good sign. Giant crocs are very territorial and would never allow another croc to move in on his kill like this. We were afraid he had moved off again. With it being day 27 of our 28-day safari, we were out of time and our spirits dropped. But then we saw a large weight coming from around the corner, and the croc that was at the meet turned to face what was coming. And that is when we saw it. It was him. The giant croc was back. But to our surprise, the smaller croc swam out to meet him. And when they met, the smaller croc bit the giant croc in the face. We couldn't figure out why he was putting up with this. Then we realized what was happening. This wasn't just any croc. It was a large female, and she was in heat, and she was here to breed. What you're about to witness has rarely ever been documented in the wild, let alone with two crocs of this size. What you're about to see is a mating ritual documented in 4K at 240 frames per second. This is truly a once-in-a-lifetime capture. I hope you enjoy. What you're seeing is a vibration he's producing known as a bellow. This is one of many ways crocodiles can vocalize with one another. What you're witnessing is a low-frequency infrasonic vibration produced through his body that can be heard by other crocs at distances between 1/2 mile and 1.5 miles away, depending on the environmental conditions. Both males and females can produce this sound, but it's primarily used by males, especially when attracting mates. Then we witnessed him mount and breed her underwater. When the mating ritual was done, we were still in a trance and in awe of what we just witnessed. But I quickly snapped out of it when he began swimming our way. He wouldn't go far before stopping and scanning for danger. With this croc likely being over 100 years old, he was hyper intelligent and most importantly, wise and cautious. We sat in complete silence, not moving the slightest muscle. Knowing he would likely feel the vibration, we watched and hoped he wouldn't sense us and come all the way in. But he stayed submerged, carefully not exposing himself. Finally, after a while, he felt there was no danger and decided to come into the meet. His leg was covering his vitals, so I had to wait. Finally, it moved forward, and it was time to take my shot. Adrenaline flooded my body as I went full draw, taking aim on the largest crocodile ever seen by a bow hunter. But I took a deep breath and channeled my adrenaline to extreme focus and took my shot.
It was a good shot. It was good. Smashed.
My shot looked great. It was a little low, but it looked good. The beast broadhead went in deep, and that's a big 2-inch cut, so I felt really good that we would find it. When you shoot them in the lungs, they beach themselves pretty quickly, so we ran down to the beach to scan the edges, looking to see if he surfaced.
I just made the shot of my life. What an absolute mega giant crocodile. This is day freaking 27 of our trip. When I got my chance, I made it count. I was trying to get steady, then I waited until it settled. And it settled, and my pin was like buried all the way to the fletchings. I think maybe they will. Again, my only concern is it in the heart.
We were pretty confident I hit him in the heart, so it was time to try and recover him.
Well, we've given it about an hour and a half since we shot my croc. So we went and got the boat. We're gonna get the boat in and get long sticks and start poking for him because I don't wanna wait 2 days for him to float. So I brought treble hooks. We'll try to find him and get him up. Otherwise, we'll have to wait a few days for him to float. But either way, we feel pretty good about the shot. Just a tick low into the heart. And you're like, heart shots are great. Not on crocs, you want lungs. So I was just a little bit lower than I should have been. I thought about the distance where he's at is where I thought.
That and maybe a little bit to that side.
But after grid searching this entire section of river and throwing a treble hook everywhere we could, we didn't find anything. Doubt began to creep in. If I missed his heart, I had to have hit him in the liver. So we decided to leave a tracker at the spot where I shot him, just to keep an eye out in case he surfaces. And the rest of us left and searched downstream to see if we could find him.
Is that a croc? Yeah, I thought it was a croc. Yeah. Okay.
Then an hour later, Lauren gets a radio call from the tracker, and he said, "Nina Mwana," which in Swahili means, "I see him." We couldn't run fast enough. We rushed back immediately to see with our own eyes, and sure enough, it was him.
Do you see where that broken down palm is?
Yeah.
He's just underneath it to the left. You can see the fletching.
I had to have missed his heart by less than an inch and hit him in his liver. Yes, this was a fatal shot, but we wanted to get another arrow in him as soon as possible.
So I would have a shot if we came on this side of him.
The only place where I usually come to look over here is where that tree is under there, but you'll be right on top of him.
So Lauren and I went back and forth strategizing a game plan to get a follow-up shot. And this is what we came up with. Right where that croc was, there was a big tree only 10 yards away from him. If we can make it to that tree, I could go full draw and come over top the embankment and shoot the croc between the eyes, hitting him in the brain. This was not going to be easy. Many of you probably don't know this, but a croc's brain is literally the size of a walnut. Not to mention, it's encased in nearly impenetrable, thick, bony skull designed to withstand the strongest bite force in the entire animal kingdom. But this was our best option. The river was deep, and when he dies and sinks, the current could carry him miles, and it would be very difficult to find him. So now I had to spot and stalk within 10 yards of a giant crocodile, go full draw and shoot a walnut encased in nearly impenetrable bone with a bow and arrow. What could go wrong? Now, with that croc being on the other side of the river, we decided to leave the cameraman on this side of the river and then drive way upstream and cross the river with the truck. And then we were going to park it about a mile away and stalk in barefoot from there. With no way of communicating with the cameraman, he didn't know when I was going to shoot, so I just had to hope he would capture the moment. As we got closer and closer to the big tree, we knew the croc was right under it. But right when we got to the tree, I heard the water churn. Despite being extremely quiet, I knew he had felt our footsteps and was about to leave. My instincts took over and I ripped my bow back and shot as fast as possible as he was sinking into the depths of the river. And as luck would have it, the cameraman turned the camera on just in time to capture me shooting. I watched my arrow fly perfect, hitting the exact spot I was aiming, burying deep into the skull of the croc, no doubtably hitting his walnut-sized brain. Instantly, all the thrashing stopped and the water went still. He was dead. He slowly sank into the depths of the river. So we got out the treble hook and I tossed it in. I hooked him immediately and began pulling him to the edge of the river. From there, we were able to get the truck close with the winch and pulled this 2,000-pound animal out of the water.
We got a big boy. Oh my God.
Once we got him out of the water, we took our time admiring this beast and reflecting all that went into hunting him. But it was time to measure him and just see how big he really was.
All right, we are measuring my crocodile. Holy smokes, what a whirlwind. Holy smokes, guys. I cannot believe we pulled this off. And this is obviously not official or anything, but it'll give us a rough idea just how big he is. It's truly amazing. I dreamt of a 14-foot croc. Was really what my goal was. If we can get a 14-footer, holy smokes. I mean, oh my gosh. Even if he's not, it doesn't matter. It's an incredible old croc, and that's what we want. So, oh my gosh, how exciting. Oh, he's got a full tail, dude. Down to the last centimeter.
Okay, go to here, buddy, and I'll hold it here. Okay, you got it? Yep, I got it. Let go. Pulling it tight. You got it there? Yeah. Okay. All the way to the end, buddy. 52 and a half. 52, no. Hold on. Let's do this properly. Almost 53, yeah? Pull it. It's over 53, buddy. 53 and a half. 53 and a half. So 70 plus 53 and a half.
Do you have your phone?
194.5.
Okay, what's that?
194.5.
Divided by 12. No, come on, don't do that.
16.2.
What? 16? Are you kidding? Oh my God, dude, that's incredible. 16. Holy smokes.
I knew this was a big
Whoa.
Josh.
Wow. 16. Wow. 100% wild free ranging in Tanzania. Dreams come true, boys. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, we got him out. Check this thing out. This is unbelievable. I just can't even begin to describe to you how awesome this is. You know, you're looking at a country boy that grew up on a gravel road in Ohio and never thought in a million years that I'd be chasing freaking crocodiles in the wilds of Tanzania. I mean, it's just truly a dream come true. And you know, my dream was to kill, you know, one over 14 foot, because that's just a pinnacle for a bow and arrow. And to get one that not only goes over 14, but goes over 16 feet. I mean, it's just truly incredible. You know, my first shot, it was a really hard shot because he was quartering in. And I just hit him a little bit too low, and we're not sure exactly what we got. Yeah, and a few hours later, we actually spotted him and we thought he was still alive, and we could see the green fletchings. We knew it was him. And so we snuck in straight over top, and I got a follow-up shot right between his eyes, and the arrow went all the way in, hitting him in the brain, killing him instantly. So, I mean, I'm so grateful and so proud of this. I mean, to bow hunt something so massive and so old. I mean, a crocodile this big is over 60 years old, honestly, probably pushing 80 plus years old. And to think the life that he's lived, I mean, my God, what an unbelievable achievement and just an honor to be sitting behind such an incredible animal. And I'm so grateful and so proud. You know, I mean, this is a once in a lifetime type of animal, and I'm just so grateful to be sitting here. But guys, I want to get him hung up in the tree so we can really get a good look at the size of him, because you're missing so much. So let's load him up in the tree and get a proper look at just how big a 16-foot wild crocodile really is.
Even measuring him just did not do him justice. So I wanted to do the traditional hanging from the tree photo to show his true size.
You guys won't believe this. Look at this giant beast, 100% wild, free ranging here in Tanzania. And I just killed an absolute dinosaur with a bow and arrow. They don't get much bigger than this. Holy smokes.
And after that, I wanted to lay next to him to show the size comparison to me, but we ran out of light, so we had to do that back at camp.
Well, I wanted to lay down next to this crocodile for you guys to be able to see the perspective of how long this thing is. So keep in mind, I'm 6'3", about 250 pounds, and this tail's curled up, but it'll give you an idea of just how massive this crocodile is. And to think, you know, we took this down with a bow and arrow.
What an adventure. Never in my life would I have ever thought I'd have an opportunity to bow hunt the world record crocodile in the jungles of Africa. But what an unbelievable animal and unbelievable encounters. Filming that mating ritual will go down in history as one of the rarest events we've ever captured for us. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. It is by far one of my all-time favorites. And if you did enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a like if you feel we deserved it. And if you could, leave a comment down below because it really helps with the algorithm. As always, Sarah and I deeply appreciate you and your support and love you guys. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.